Hi, my name is Nick Caruso, and this is a training video of using the AutoStore's SMTP capture capabilities. So let's just go a little bit on some training on how email works in general. So let's say I have an email file here, and I have a client here. Well, I'll put the user down here, and I want to get that email to that user. So how does that normally work today? Well, that email first goes to a server who then sends the email over the internet to another server, and then the client downloads that email. Now that client can be most commonly Outlook, but it could just be the internet. It could be like a Gmail browser, so your web browser that you're logging in. The server up here in a corporate environment is oftentimes Exchange, Microsoft Exchange, or in the case of public servers like Yahoo Mail or Gmail, they actually store the emails up here. The way this is downloaded, especially if it's going to a thick client here, like Outlook, or other clients on your desktop, is using what's called POP or IMAP or some other protocols. This connection here can be unencrypted or encrypted. So the unencrypted POP connection is usually using what's called port 110, or the encrypted one I believe is 995. That would be the SSL version. Alright, now this server here that relays the email, and the email goes over to this server here using usually what's called DNS to figure out what server to go to. So when you email user@abc.com, what happens is that this server here is abc.com, and emails are being transferred over this way. It's a lot more complicated than that, but that's kind of like a high-level summary. Now, in order for this email here, and you're using a client here as well, so you're using Outlook or Gmail or some other client, in order to transfer it to this server here, you're going to use what's called SMTP. An SMTP is just a way to relay the information from a server to another server. And the connection here to relay it over SMTP is usually using port 25 or 465, which would be the SSL version, the secure way of transferring that information. So the email goes from your client to the SMTP server here. That gets transferred over to the final destination, which gets downloaded to your client. Now, AutoStore can be used in multiple ways in this workflow. First off, an AutoStore server here could directly connect to an SMTP server. So you could be scanning documents from your multifunction device. You could be using auto capture, web capture, or other methods that AutoStore supports to capture the content, relay it through the SMTP server, and then send it to where it needs to go. AutoStore can also download emails using either POP or IMAP. So we can download an email using AutoStore and automate a process to get an email potentially into a line of business application or into a content management system. And AutoStore can also act as an SMTP gateway. So what that means is that when emails come in, and they could be coming in via Outlook or other email clients, and as AutoStore acting as that SMTP gateway, what we can do is we can start perhaps caching all the emails to a folder, or storing all the emails into a content management system, or into a database. And we can also do data filtering, like checking if there is an SSN in an email. And if there isn't, we're just going to send it on its way. But if there is, we could stop that email from even leaving the organization. So AutoStore can be used to send an email, filter all emails that are going out, and also download emails. So AutoStore can do all three things. So let's talk about what AutoStore can do as far as capturing content from the SMTP gateway. So I'm going to go ahead and start a new layer here and start from scratch. So again, I've got an email, and it needs to go to the client, the end user, the customer, and so forth. In order to send that email, we have to use what's called SMTP. And we'll use SMTP as our transport protocol. We can use AutoStore to capture those emails and filter them. Now this can also be really good if you just want to test a workflow. Let's say you want to test your emails and maybe you don't have an internet connection, so it won't go to the end user. Or maybe you just want to test to make sure all the emails will go out appropriately. So we can even use AutoStore as a test SMTP environment. So I'm going to be showing you how to do that next, and it's very easy to do. Let's take a look at an AutoStore configuration that supports this. I've built a simple workflow that uses auto capture to capture emails, or to send out emails I should say, and I just have some dummy fields in here, the to, the from, the subject, and the body, and I can go ahead and send this email out using a standard SMTP gateway. Normally this would be maybe an Exchange server or public SMTP server and so forth. And I'm also mapping my RTs into the applicable from, to, subject, and body. I've also set up another SMTP server, and this is my own server, my own internal server. And what that means is I can capture all those emails going out instead of using my production server. And if my test server is above my production server, and if it is working, AutoStore will send to that location first. So I could go out right now and buy and install an SMTP server, or I can use AutoStore to do that. So in this case, I'm using the AutoStore SMTP capture component. So the emails will go out from here, and normally it will go straight out to an SMTP server on the internet and out to the final destination. But instead, I'm sending from auto capture to an SMTP server that I'm running on my computer. And so I can capture these emails, and when I configure this, there's lots of different settings I can do. I can just filter the emails, and if they filter a certain way, I can prevent them from going out or store a local copy and so forth. In this case, I'm not going to route it to a secondary SMTP server. I'm just going to go ahead and process the email and download it. So I'm simply just capturing the email, and I'm going to send it to a folder destination here. So let's go ahead and see this in action. I have two windows open here. So I'm going to right click on this document. I'm going to hit send an email. Normally this could be an automated workflow and so forth. I just have some test information in here. If I'm going to send that, it's going to normally go out to the internet. Instead, I'm going to have it sent to a local server here that I'm running on my computer, in which case we capture the email and capture the attachment. And this is a .eml file, and I can open it up in an email client. I have Outlook installed on my computer, so I can go ahead and double click on it, and I can see here's the email. So who it was from me to this destination, and here's the attachment, and here's the body. So this is a great way of just even testing your emails going out. And you can have some fun with this, so you can even play around with the from field. This really shows you how easy it is to spoof an address. And if I send that and I were to send it out, when the email comes in, it'll say it's from so-and-so. So let me pull up that email. So it's to Barack Obama and from me. And let me swap that around. So now it's going to be from Barack.Obama at whitehouse.gov, and then to Nick.Caruso at NSiUS.com. I'm going to hit submit. Let me just delete these test ones in there already, and let's see it come in. In this case, it's from Barack Obama to Nick Caruso, so you can have some fun with this as well. So that's, in summary, using NSi AutoStore to capture emails in transit before they get to the final destination. Thank you.